Every time I hear that, just the opening parts of the Debbie Friedman Misha Berach, just names start to come to me right away, names of people who need healing. And so I'm going to ask you to travel with me to a very different part of our brain, and I'm going to make a sound, and you can tell me the name that always comes to mind when you hear this sound. Haman, that's right. Haman, boo, the evil guy in the Purim story. And now we're in the midst of Passover, and who's our evil guy in the Passover story? You went to religious school and got an A. There's a Purim story, there's a Passover story, and there's the story of right now. So for example, today, Yahya Sinwar, leader of Hamas, is evil. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, evil. In every generation, there's a Haman or a Pharaoh who wants to destroy our people. In the long story of Jews, there are so many Hamans and so many Pharaohs. And then there are bad eggs. Not evil like Sinwar, but not nice. Maybe you have experienced a sadistic boss, an unfair teacher, a bad neighbor, a cruel ex-lover. Someone dented your car and then drove away. Someone stole your wallet. Your friend abandoned you when you needed them. Judaism teaches that all of us have a yetzer tov, a good impulse, and a yetzer ra, a bad inclination. But wait, me? I could never smash anyone's window. I never purposefully call for the destruction of any people or any country. I would never kill anyone. And it's true. Most of us are not diabolically evil. But what a struggle sometimes just to be a good person in this world. No, we don't murder, but sometimes we say unkind things to other people. We hit send on texts and emails we know we should not have sent. We treat some people warmly but snub others. We fail to give people the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes our inner seventh grader comes out. This is not personal to any seventh graders here in the room. This is just, the older people know what this means, because sometimes our jealousies and our pettiness, and we put other people down. The list goes on and on. We are human beings. We're not God. God is the Jewish idea of perfection. We are so far from perfect. What I love about Judaism is it's a daily practice for being a better person, because our God believes that we can be better and provides the tools to do so. Here are 3 Jewish tools, because honestly, if we're going to try to be mensches, we need all the tools that Judaism can provide. Tool number 1 is prayer. You may or maybe don't believe in God or any higher power. I don't think you need to believe in God to pray. Prayer is a setting of intentions. Prayer is waking up each day and thinking about what it would take to be good. Not perfect, just good. Maybe you wake up and you know that later in the morning you have that weekly meeting where you get irritated. And so you pray for the strength to be calm, to be a better listener, to check yourself before speaking. Maybe you wake up and you have to get your kids up, dressed, fed, and to school on time. And so you pray for reminders of how deeply you love your children, even the whiny, slowpoke ones. And you pray for patience and more love and less yelling. You thank God or the universe for giving us this life, for blessing us with these whiny, slowpoke children of ours. Moda ani, I get another day. I love these prayers. They refocus our anger, hurt, and frustration on something larger, on gratitude. And I wanted to share these words with you before we go into the Amidah prayer, because just a few pages into the Amidah, on the interpretive side, on page 53, you can see it later, I read these words every Friday night. Days pass, and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. Setting each day with that awareness before you even start your day can nourish your Yetzer Tov, your good intentions. Jewish tool number 2 is study. Jewish study is countercultural to secular study. Torah lishma is the concept of study for its own sake, for the joy of it, not to get into a good school, not to get a higher paycheck. Jewish study is for the sake of immersing in traditional and contemporary literature, weekly Torah study, commentaries, the words of the Haggadah. All of these teachings move practitioners of Judaism to be better people. This past week, we sat around our Seder tables and we said, "Let all who are hungry come and eat." Whether by giving generously and regularly to the food bank, or volunteering at City Hope, or bringing our next refugee family to San Francisco, or working to change and alleviate the underlying systems that cause poverty, our texts promote us to be mensches. And that, of course, leads to the third Jewish tool, which is action. In the Talmud, the question comes up, which is greater, study or action? Rabbi Tarfon said, action is greater. Rabbi Akiva said, study is greater. The others then spoke up and said, study is greater if it leads to action and because it leads to action. I love this text for so many reasons. It reminds us that Jews have respectfully and passionately disagreed with one another since forever. It teaches us that prayer, study, and action are interlinked and accessible. The news of the conflict, the wars, the bloodshed, the college campuses, the long list of really bad people out there makes our blood boil. So may we use these Jewish tools to see the miracles all around us, to preference kindness, to demonstrate empathy, to give generously to the people we love, and to give generously to people we don't know, to stand up for what we believe in peacefully. The Torah's villains are villainous. The Torah's greatest heroes are imperfect. Torah reminds us that so much of Judaism is not simply the work of trying to be a pretty good person. As easy as it is for all of us to point fingers at pharaohs and Hamans of our time, the harder work is the mensch work. The hardest work is to realize that truth, that days pass and years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles.